Welcome to today's discussion on place of supply in case of international transactions. We made an initial beginning towards understanding that all foreign payments are not import of service. All foreign receipts are not export of service. Let me remind you, this is a very powerful statement. Not all foreign payments are import of service. Not all foreign receipts are export of service. Each and every transaction should undergo as per the lenses of 2 subsection 6 in case of export of goods and 2 subsection 11 in case of import of export of service and import of service. Because if all these set out conditions are satisfied, then only it would be treated as import of service or export of service. On that note, section 13 comes out and highlights to us, if either supplier is located outside India or recipient of service is located outside India, the place of supply for the said transaction can be determined as per section 13 of IGSTR. Section 13 subsection 2 comes out and highlight that all those services that are specified under this section shall be determined, place of supply shall be determined only as per that section. In case if a service is not specified by its subsection, then we will call that as a general category. And in case of a general category, the location of recipient will be place of supply. So let me repeat it. It is not for every category location of recipient is going to be place of supply. The test that need to be that need to be undergone by every transaction is, first we have to take up the transaction and we have to verify whether it is covered by the specified services. In case if it is not covered by the specified services, then we will go and apply the general test, which comes out and says location of recipient is going to be place of supply. On that, the first test or the first specified service under section 13.3, do I need to remember section numbers, subsection numbers and all? Preferably yes. A topic like time of supply, place of supply, value of supply, input tax credit, these are all a little powerful topic, and each topic invariably in-houses more than 8 to 10 marks solid from an exam perspective. 8 marks is guaranteed in all these topics, whatever I have highlighted. So from an examiner's expectation, yes, those subsections need to be remembered. Coming back here, 13.3 comes out and highlight. When goods are physically made available by the recipient of service to the supplier of service, or the physical presence of an individual is required for me to supply a particular kind of services, then two activities. When it comes to goods, the goods are physically required. I need to go and see the goods, touch the goods, feel the goods. If I need to come up with a chemical testing of a particular chemical, then I need to have the chemical in my hand. In case if I'm going to come up with a certification for a goods, of course, I do agree. Virtually, I can certify it, but certain times, many times I have to go and touch the machine, take the length and breadth of the machine to see the machine, whether a particular casting is used or not, particular rotary model is used or not. So for that physical presence of that goods is required. In case I'm going to provide some repair and maintenance services, I do agree. Advisory services on repair and maintenance can be done virtually, but the real repair and maintenance, the real upkeeping of the machinery has to be done only by physically goods are made available by the recipient to supply. If the ATM machine is down and if I need to repair that ATM machine, then no doubt I need some engineers who go get in contact with that physical goods and then do their services in repair and maintenance services in connection with the activity. In case of any goods which are physically made available by the recipient of service to the supplier, the place where the services are performed, that would become place of service. In case to provide some services by a supplier, the supplier is in need of the physical presence of the recipient. One of the services provided by a photographer is photography services. For a photography services, which is going to be provided to an individual, pre-shoot, post-shoot, wedding shoot, for all these shoots, the individual is required. Services supplied to individual which requires the physical presence of such individual. In case of certain personal grooming services, in case of certain training services on that individual, the physical presence of the individual is required. The physical presence of the individual is required. No doubt. Place of supply. Place of supply would be in all these cases when the individuals or individual representative who are where the physical presence of such individual is required with the supplier of service, the place where the services are actually performed. If the training happens in India, place of supply becomes India. So coming back here, are there any exceptions to this rule? Yes, we have one exception to this rule as of today. In case of any processing activity, any repair and maintenance activity, or in case of all those activities of processing, job work, repair, maintenance, all this, one of the amended version also. In case of all these activities, if the goods are exported after repair, place of supply will not be determined as per this section. When a particular section says that place of supply for a transaction will not be determined as per this section, then we are asked or we are forced to go to the general section. General section will say location of recipient will be place of supply. Most important crucial facts: goods comes from outside India, processing is done in India, and goods goes outside India without use. Kindly appreciate that fact. Currently, the slide that is before you is not capturing that information. Goods imported into India for repairs, processed, and exported back without use, then yes, it is possible. In case of all those services provided by way of electronic means, place of supply will be the place where the goods are situated at the time of supply of service. More importantly, goods are, if services are going to be provided by electronic means, place of supply will be the place where the goods are located. Infosys Technologies Limited bags a contract of British Telecom. British Telecom has its data center in Finland, data center where the complete data is in-housed by the organization through some servers, cloud-based processing, XYZ. Infosys now should maintain that data center. Now, Infosys through a virtual mode itself can maintain the data center, ensure everything is correct, take periodic reports, also further ensure some of the servers that are all running there is proper. There are no threats, there are no unnecessary shutdowns, or I'll rephrase it, unscheduled shutdowns of server, which are all generally a lead for threats. So all are planned scheduled or planned shutdowns or scheduled shutdowns. So in a model like this, when the complete services on which they are going to provide is located in Finland, Infosys Technology Limited as a company located in Karnataka, India, recipient of service is located in London, UK. Now, a genuine doubt will come to us. What is going to be the place of supply? The complete services are provided through electronic means. So the place where the asset is located, that would become your place of supply. Why I want to highlight all this is with a single question, with a single facts in the hand, we can again and again repeat as many number of questions possible. Any case, coming back here, getting into a little more detailed discussion on some of those aspects associated over here. Immovable property based services. As far as immovable property based services, no changes that we can see on these services internationally also. Any services which has either a direct nexus or services in relation to accommodation based services, services in connection with construction of such immovable property related services. For all these services, the place where the immovable property is located, that would become place of service. So all services directly connected with immovable property. We have an architect in Chennai. This architect in Chennai provides services to a construction company in Dubai. For a mall that is going to be constructed in Dubai, what would be place of supply for us? A very simple answer. Where your immovable property is located or intended to be located, which is going to come. Sometimes you'll have a different interesting questions. Sometimes we'll have questions where a Hong Kong based construction company engages an architect in Mumbai, India. And this architect in India designs the additional construction of an existing airport in Hong Kong. Bombay based, very famous architect, do the further construction, how it has to be, the complete architecture and architectural designs relating to the new airport. Maybe you can call it that way. In these circumstances, for that architect, the intended in the new immovable property is intended to be located in Hong Kong, place of supply will be Hong Kong. A vice versa example is also possible. A construction company in India want to construct European villas. this place by name called as Silvassa. Okay, if in case we have an opportunity to travel to Gujarat, Silvassa, but again a kind of union territory now. Uh, why this? What is the speciality of this place? Which you can see some of those European style villas construction over there. One of the construction company in Tamil Nadu been inspired from European villas, want to construct in Chennai European villas. Not Chennai means Chennai, from Chennai about another 60, 70 kilometers. So we'll call it as Chengalpattu. Okay, close to that, in somewhere in Orogadam they want to construct. They feel that many international companies are here. So there is a possibility of a pitch in towards their property. My point is this: in case of all these, in case of all these construction companies, the construction company has signed up a contract in Tamil Nadu based construction company has signed up a contract with a Spain architect. Why is there Spain architect? Why you don't have Indian architect? No, we have Indian architects, but for a European touch they want, so they engaged as a Spain consultant, an architect who is I would say the senior consultant. He will not come down and drill down on the drawings. He will just give his advisory services. This has to be like that. That has to be like this. This is what is European style. So what is that European style? Having a fluorescent green color as the wall color. Having a full blue as their. See, think of for a minute a wall with a house of full blue. If you have a yellow color car, how beautiful it will be. I'll rephrase it. How colorful it will be. Same. Because their style is it. Some of the fluorescent colors that we see in motor vehicles, all are inspiration from European colors. Nothing. India, no, only four colors: white, black, grey, cement. That's all. Indian car colors are four colors. Beyond that, very rarely Indians choose a different color. Of course, rarely red. Now only this concept of what is it? All the fluorescent colors are in the market. All are inspiration. Let me repeat. All are inspiration from European markets. In European markets only this is famous. Now coming back here, a European color, a European balcony base, a European villa style. All these are all inspired. Here, architect is in Spain, construction company is in India, immovable property is going to be located in India. So for us, we will stop from this section, place of supply. But again, if you connect all the threads, you will be able to determine whether it is an import of service or export of service. Yeah. So intention here is take up the transaction, read through the transaction, and then decide what is going to be applicable. Followed by event-based services. Any services in relation to admission to an event or organizing of event, both together, admission or organizing, admission to a specified event or organizing of specified event, the place where the event is actually held, that would become place of service. Let me repeat, the place where the event is actually held. Where are we going to conduct the event? That would become place of service. So the event is planned in this country. That country becomes place of supply. Place of supply in case of event-based services, not only entry into specified events, organizing of these events, sponsoring these events, various other activities in connection with these events, the place where the event is held, actually held, that would become place of supply. So the point that we want to drive here is admission to or organizing of events. Yes, in case of all these cases, the place where the event is kept. Now a new challenge will come. This challenge is not a natural challenge. It's little business challenges. Sometimes the contracts will be so well merged that few activities should happen in India, few activity would happen outside India. Maybe I'll give an example so that you can get a grip of it. A company is engaged by another country, another person, that a company is engaged by another person, that a company is engaged by a foreign person, that he should do a event in India, he should also do a event in that country, let's say USA. For both the events together, we will pay you $50,000 or $5,000 per event. 10 events you have to do. 4 in India, 6 outside India. Hope you understand that mathematics. Sir, can he split the event? No, sir. No. Can he give per event price? No, sir. If he gives per event price, then it is beautiful. Like how I shared to you, 5,000 per event. If he is consciously quiet, he says, lump sum payment of $43,500 is paid. Now a genuine doubt comes, what is the place of supply? Because he has to perform something here and he should also perform something outside India. What is going to be a genuine activity? Just for your information, first of all, to the extent possible in business, we have to come out of these kind of transactions. But sometimes it's a natural call. Business are intertwined, where sometimes people are asked to perform for a single price, single contract in 2 different geographical locations. People are asked to execute events in 2 different locations. People who own immovable properties in 2 different locations are captured, are tied up and rented. In those circumstances, how to determine place of supply? In such situations, place of supply need to be determined as per section 13 subsection 6. Even a small portion is done in taxable territory, place of supply shall be the location in taxable. Even one transaction done in taxable. I'll give you maybe a good example. That example will help you in understanding it. Let me repeat, as I earlier highlighted, this is little exceptional, not a regular transaction. Indian photographer, more specifically a photographer from Tamil Nadu, was engaged by a non-resident Indian client who lives in Canada, where he was mesmerized with the works of this Tamil Nadu-based photographer. Was amazing photography he had for some of those weddings, which he posted on the Facebook, various social media, that provoked that Canadian who's NRI who now lives in Canada. Very interesting to note, his marriage is scheduled in India. So, initial discussions, generally people who live outside India, they will know that their marriages are scheduled for a period 6 months before. Normal scheduling, 6 months. Very rarely is 3 months. Less than 3 months and all is very riskier proposals. So my discussion here is, because it was scheduled well in time, 6-8 months was there, he said, The girl is also in Singapore. Girl is planning to come to Canada. We are planning to have some time over here. So call this Tamil Nadu based photographer, fixed him because he liked his work. Uh, asked this Tamil Nadu based person to come to Canada and to have a pre-wedding shoot. The pre-wedding shoot was in Canada. The wedding shoot happened in Tamil Nadu, and a post-wedding shoot happened in another country. Okay, Maldives. So, points for our discussion here is all this wedding shoots, all are done, comes for a packaged price. Let's say some dollars, okay, Canadian dollars. What is the place of supply for this transaction? Because the services are provided in 3 different locations. And I'm sure you all will agree with me. For the photographer who is supplying services, he requires an object. In our case, the object is an individual. And that individual's physical presence is required for the supplier to supply services. In those circumstances, because a small portion, in our case, it's a substantial portion itself. The wedding itself happened in India. So place of supply, major is there. Only a small portion happened in 2 countries. My view here is even a small portion is done in India, place of supply would be treated as taxable territory, India. So points for our discussion over here are even a small portion. Sir, in India itself, they had a 3-day function in Rajasthan, 3-day function in Bombay, 3-day function in Tamil Nadu. Then how I should? If in case it happens in more than one state, place of supply should be taken on the respective states. On some logical basis, revenue has to be distributed and place of supply need to be taken. Understand the idea of the government is that state share revenue should go to that state. Recollect when we discussed about import of goods, this question I raised. The question that I raised was, we all know import of goods, nature of supply is interstate supply. Then why, for what heck you need to know about the place of supply of a import of goods? A very simple reason. Why should I know? Because tomorrow the revenue distribution, in case that is a end consumer transaction, I'm before you on an end consumer transaction. The Canadian NRI is not going to claim what input tax credit. The fellow who's an NRI came from Canada, he is not going to claim input tax credit. Here the transaction is going to end. Now, in India itself, if you done everything in one location, then you will use the first entry and close it. 13.6. In India, if there are going to be multiple places where he is going to use, multiple places he is going to perform, then every place of supply of service shall be taken as the place. So that's going to be now a genuine thoughts and all come to us. How are we going to distribute it? Some specific parameters to be there. First of all, contracts like this should not be signed. In case contracts are signed, some basis should be arrived in the contract itself, so that the contract becomes the most important document for the purpose of distribution of revenue among the states. See, now we are not concluding that it is not leviable. We are very comfortable. The place of supply is India. The transaction itself will not be treated as a export of service. All that is agreeable. The moment you said it's not an export of service, how are we going to distribute that revenue? On that angle, it becomes important. After section 13.3, from an exam perspective, 13.3, highly important, no doubt about it. I would not say at a final level 13.4, 13.5 is important. 13.5 read along with 13.6. 13.4 read along with 13.6 becomes important. 13.7 is also rare from an exam perspective. Exam perspective, rare. 13.8 is the next important area. Sir, among these three sections, you say, sir, 13.3 first, 13.8 next. One of the important entry, and many authority of advanced ruling you have, many different views you have on this topic. Now, why I'm creating so much hype is that is a demand of this section. See, understand when at a final level, generally the industry issues are the first issues that will be tested in exam, preferably as a case study question. The two questions like this, where I'm expecting a question last but attempt itself I expected a question. Last attempt again I expected certain questions. This attempt I expect certain question. I still expect a question that there is a person in India. That person acts as an intermediary between a student and the foreign university. What would be the place of supply? We have about 8 different AARs on this topic. 8 authority of advanced ruling, and all 8 authority of advanced ruling, 6 of them give a same view. 2 of them gives a different view. Again, because of that, one more tilt will happen in the transaction. Now, any case, we are at now our introductory level. We will maintain that introductory level discipline. We will not get into too much and put pressures for you. Services supplied. These services under section 13.8 may be called as specified services. Services supplied by a bank or NBFC or a financial institution to a particular account holder called as NRO, NRE account holder. All those services provided to NRO account holder, NRE account holder, place of supply will be the location of supplier, contradicting to your general entry. Straight contradicting your general entry. Because general entry says 13.2. General entry would come out and say location of recipient is going to be place of supply. Straight contrary view is going to be 13.8 in case of services provided by a bank, NBFC, financial institution to NRO or NRE account holder. A specified account holder, not all, not SB account, not current account, only NRO, NRE account holder. Why sir NRO, NRE account holder? Both fellow will give foreign address. NRO account, non-resident ordinary account and non-resident external account. NRO account, NRE account, both account holders will give foreign address. At that time, you will say what? I am banking company. I am coming under, not covered under specified category anywhere. So I am supplying services to an individual located outside India. He lives in Malaysia. So and so Dato. No, nothing of that sort. Make a point very clear. In case of these services, location of supplier will be place of supply. Next, every kind of intermediary services. In fact, in the slide, we lack the definition of intermediary. Recollect, we would have discussed the definition of agent. In our view, agent itself is wide. Intermediary is the widest definition. There is a lot of difference between intermediary and agent when we get into a detailed wording. But at your level, you can remember in this way: agent who will act only for one person, intermediary who will act for many persons. An intermediary is a person who is not supplying the main service. That's next part. He will not supply the main service. He will not supply the main goods. He just connects people. There is a supplier who is supplying goods. There is a recipient who is in need of goods. He just brings back, he bridges them, that's all. He just by bridging supplier and recipient, in between he takes away a small money called as intermediary services. And one of the conditions, the intermediary will not be engaged in supply of main services. The moment intermediary engaged in supply of main service, yes, in case intermediary is engaged in supply of main service, no doubt it would be treated as a the location of supplier will be treated as a place of supply. Hiring of means of transport, bus, aircraft, car, everything, high-end two-wheeler, everything can be hired. We will come across somebody traveling in a Royal Enfield Bullet, a foreigner, a foreigner is traveling in a Harley Davidson or Ducati, whatever be it. Now the point here for our discussions is, in case of hiring of a means of transport, including yachts, luxury boats, including yachts, but excluding aircrafts and vessels up to a period of 1 month. If they hire for a period of more than 1 month, this section is not applicable. So the whole idea is, somebody comes from foreign country, engages a private jet, and on that private jet, they travel from location A to location. Okay. So is it private jet facilities are all available? Yes, all are available. Okay. Everything comes for a price. If you also want to go from Goa to Chennai, you can also go. All it requires is 6.5 lakhs. That's all. Are you going to pay 7,500 rupees and travel along with 130 people? Are you going to travel only along with 12 people is going to be your subject matter of discussion. Beyond that, nothing is here. So again, next question, affordability to pay. For me, the timing and sometimes the need, individual need, sometimes X, Y, Z reasons. We are not stepping into on that reason. Beyond that, it's a need. It's more of a need. Often I highlight to it. When a person reaches a position of a multi-crore billion-dollar organization, only then he will know the challenges of that organization. And for him, every minute becomes important at a decision-making level. Unless somebody is not going to be a CEO of 100 crore organization, they will not know what is the value of this person's time. For all others, for him, he is not supposed to wait somewhere for 10 minutes. For him, if he comes, things should happen. He want to execute things like that only. So for him, if he comes, aircraft has to go. If he comes, aircraft has to go means in a normal mode, it is not possible. Then aircraft has to be exclusive for him. When aircraft has to be exclusive for him, the organization has to buy that aircraft. And for an organization perspective, it's an expenditure of travel. And if the company has the profitability to allow, company can obviously can buy. And some of these aircrafts are all not costly. Of late, it's becomes part and parcel of it. Every organization has you name an Indian organization, you name an international organization, and you name anybody. We have a few politician families who use private jets. We have few celebrities who use private jets. We have few individuals who use private jet. Delhi, Chennai private jet, lakh and 75,000 rupees. Of course, pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, the rates are doubled because of the approvals and other legal requirements associated with it. Because you now have a challenge in both landing and this thing. My crux discussion here is, this becomes the order of the day. And now you have to think in this grounds. There is a company in, I'll share you a live case. There is a company in Kadalur, one of the oil refinery company, a 6,000 crore project, 6,000 crore project. But however, only 1,000 crores is infused. Project is struggling. There is a Middle East based company, a managing director who's already who's having 3 or 4 oil wells or something, oil facilities at Dubai. That fellow comes down to India. He's planning, let me have a oil refinery company in India so that I can reverse integrate it. Idea is, tomorrow I have oil, instead of supplying to these people and these people somehow decide to buy it at low rates, why not me supply that oil to my own company and start process it? And it's one German collaboration based organization, so missionaries will be good, so they came. I was altogether surprised. We were all waiting because we need to brief the project to him. I'm just sharing about a 6 years old discussion, not today. 6 years old discussion, understand. We have been waiting on the cars for him at the respective corporate office. He landed. Once he landed, people briefed him. In fact, the main people briefed them only then. They said the factory is at Kadalur. You have to make a ground clearance, or a road travel of another 3 hours. Of course, a high-end car, no doubt about it. Mercedes S-Class Benz was booked for him, as both the managing directors are going to travel. He said, no, 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 cancel, cancel, cancel. 3 hours. I need to be back in the evening at Dubai. So we will travel by air. Mark my word. Next 1.5 hours, they would have discussed about the project. I know I was being supporting them in terms of the papers, because at the managing director level, next a core team, next to that, we are the supporting team at that end. Maybe that in the same business center of that hotel, which is close by to the airport, 1.5 hours, this discussion went. At what price he is going to take over this, that, how the arrangement will be, all that was discussed. Within that 1.5 hours, Deccan Aviation Limited was contacted. A chopper was made ready. Both the managing director gets into the chopper, airlifted to the respective location. Nearby to the company place, there was a helipad. On that location, it was they have landed. From there to that particular factory, 20 minutes travel time. Went, saw the company, because he is going to buy. He saw the company, came back. Within that 3.5 4 hours, he did everything and came back here. Sometimes people are do at that level. Now the points that need to be noted by that there. Then I asked casually, for this airlifting charges and all, who is responsible? Very interesting note. The Dubai company made a payment. For the Mercedes Benz, which was booked and cancelled here, again that company made a payment. It's very clear. My time is my time. Now, when we look this perspective, and now take up the core discussions alone. A vehicle was hired by a foreign company. An aircraft is hired by a foreign company. For the aircraft, this section is not applicable. To the contrary, for the car, this section is applicable. Service of hiring of means of transport, including yachts, but excluding aircraft and vessel. Place of supply will be location of supplier in a specified section. If you exclude something, it will go to the general section. Deccan Aviation Limited will rise bill to that Dubai company. Place of supply will be Dubai. Bala Travels and Tourist Private Limited will raise a bill to Dubai-based company. However, place of supply will be India. Understand the difference. Difference is, one is going to be a motor vehicle other than aircraft and vessel. Another one is going to be aircraft and vessel. 13.8 applicable and 13.2 applicable, because 13.8 excluded. Sir, the vehicle itself is hired for 3 months. Then the story is very simple. 13.8 itself is not applicable. You'll go to general entry 13.2. See, these are the aspects. On a transaction, we need to read it very carefully. We need to get into it and understand the nuances of this transaction. 6 years before, 8 years before all this is happening, I was just evidencing all this. Not 8, 6 years before. Well, yes. All was being just evidenced by me. Oh, people behave like this. And in fact, I was little, what is this fellow is saying? Oh, the way in which the decisions are taken, the way in which that company was taken over in the next 1.5 years. And then the management changed, and that company stepped in, implemented the project, created a turnaround in the company. Decision makings are something which is very serious. And how they make decisions has to be really, really appreciated. And I was really surprised by that decision. 3 hours on road, not possible. So book a, that was a that minute decision. I know by myself. I know because we all are scheduled to leave at that time. We all are scheduled to leave at a particular time. I don't know what change that he brought in. I don't know absolutely, because to that extent and all, we don't have access. We have a very little access to some of those main team. Again, coming back here, in case of transportation of goods. When it comes to transportation of goods, only one careful point: transportation of goods other than mail and courier. This provision is not going to discuss about mail and courier. So if my transportation of goods is going to be mail or courier, then it would be determined by 13(2). It would general entry, not determined by 13(9). No, it's going to be a transportation of bulk cargo, this, that, and all. Then it will be 13(9). Transportation of goods, except mail or courier. Place of supply will be the destination of goods, a contrary position as compared to your domestic law. In domestic law, we will say if the services of transportation of goods provided to unregistered person, the place where the goods are handed over for transportation. That is what we will say in domestic law, 12 subsection 8. When it comes to your international law, it is not the place where it is handed over, it is the destination of the goods. You can ask me why two contrary positions. They are very right. International law will speak the international language of place of supply. That is little desi type. They want to benefit the respective states in case of services provided to unregistered person. That is why it is drafted like this. We have an international jurisprudence, we have OECD guidelines, we have HMRC guidelines of EU VAT. So all these are all the basis in which the place of supply is determined. Let's not underestimate that these are all just like that defined. If in case if you have an access to read through your EU VAT, the Europe Union VAT, you will come across the same principles. If you're going to read through the Dubai VAT, again you'll come across what we call it as GST. For them it is VAT. Beyond that, no differences. Because India understand VAT in a different way, the whole world understand VAT in a different way. For what is for the whole world is VAT, for India it is GST. That's all. So understand, these are all international principles. That is why we have some differences. Do we need to respect the differences? Yes, a genuine difference. Thought process. There is a lot of thought process goes behind this differences. Destination, the destination of the goods, where the goods are going to be destinated, that would become place of supply. In case of transportation of passengers, the place where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey, which means when the aircraft stops and if he does not get down, then it would be treated as a continuous journey. Chennai, Bangalore, Trivandrum, Bale aircraft. From Chennai to Bangalore it will go, Bangalore to Trivandrum it will go, Trivandrum to Bale. On en route return, Bale, Trivandrum, Chennai. It will not go to Bangalore. That's the en route return. So a person purchased a Chennai Bale ticket. Chennai, Indonesia Bale. So Chennai Bale ticket he purchases. Place of supply will be the place where the passenger embarks. Chennai, India is becoming place of supply. Now, in between, it stops at Bangalore. In between, it stops at Trivandrum. That Bale passenger will not get down off the aircraft. He will still be in the aircraft. He will not get down. You will still be in the aircraft. That is why that journey is called as a continuous journey. Okay, where there is no stoppage in your journey. There would be stoppages in the aircraft. So once he gets in, where he gets out, that becomes the model for a continuous journey. Plus invoice, boarding pass. When a boarding pass is given to Mr. A, it will be given from Chennai to Bale. When a boarding pass is given to Mr. B, it will be given from Chennai to Trivandrum. He will not get down in Bangalore. When the boarding pass is given to Mr. C, it will be given as Chennai to Bangalore. When the aircraft stops in Bangalore, only Mr. C will get down. And there will be somebody from Bangalore to Trivandrum, he will step in. When the aircraft stops in Trivandrum, Mr. B will get down, and somebody who boarded in Bangalore who need to get down at Trivandrum, they'll get down. Somebody who boarded in Bangalore to go to Bale, he will stay. Hope you could able to visualize all this. And in Trivandrum, few people will want to go to Bale, they will get on board. So every stopover, it is called a stopover. Every stopover would be treated as a leg of journey. And continuous journey will include leg of journey. So where the passenger gets in, gets out is going to be more important. The place where the passenger gets in, that will become place of service. Any services provided inside an aircraft on the onboard conveyance, the place of first scheduled point of departure. Same position, no changes in position, absolutely no change in position. The first scheduled point of departure, that would become place of supply. What is going to be the first scheduled point of departure? What do we mean by first scheduled point of departure? Chennai, Bangalore, Trivandrum, Bale. First scheduled point of departure, Chennai. Whatever goods, whatever services provided inside the aircraft, place of supply is India. On return. Bale, Trivandrum, Chennai. First scheduled point of departure, Bale. Whatever transaction done on return will always be place of supply will be Bale. So that is how it has to be decided in case of all those conveyance related activities done inside a conveyance. Coming back here, getting into a very important service, supply of OIDBARS services, online information database access retrieval services. What do you mean by online information database access retrieval services? Today, what we do with our mobile phone, all are OIDBAR services. OIDAR, we often call it as DB, stands for database. OIDAR or OIDBAR services, online information database retrieval access retrieval services. A Gmail account, advertisement in Facebook, supply of all those mobile app based services, providing cloud computing services, providing digital contents. It could be a movie, it could be your books, software, music, everything. Or it is going to be supplying of digital content, storing digital content, or gaming services. All these services which are done through the support of information technology, where generally no human intervention is required, or even human intervention is required, it's minimal. Those kind of services would be treated as OIDAR services, online information database access retrieval services, OIDAR services. In case of OIDAR services, location of recipient is place of service. In case of OIDAR services, location of recipient is going to be place of service. Zoom, covered under OIDAR services. When it comes to Zoom comes under OIDAR services. Zoom, though located outside India, recollect your section 55 or 95. Section 55 or 95. More preferably 55. Though the supplier, e-commerce supplier is located outside India, he shall appoint an agent. Similarly, you will have a section, we will read sometime, not now, later, a section 14, which will press every OIDAR services to get themselves mandatorily registered under GST in India. And for whatever services provided to a recipient in India, they are liable to. Also kindly understand, some of the app company in India, some of the software companies, startup software companies in India, they will provide services to a recipient located outside India. Possible. I still remember one of our client who hosted his app based on PERT and CPM. I hope we have not forgot that method. Critical critical path method and project evaluation and review technique. Okay, PERT and CPM. Based on PERT and CPM, one project dynamics was determined by this gentleman who lived in Arepuram. They designed a particular program, uploaded, I'll rephrase, hosted the program in a US based server. His program was used by throughout the world. Sitting at here, connected to payment gateways, international payment gateways. International payment gateways makes payment to him. Legal company, he has a company, to that company all revenue comes in. Now, if you carefully note, it is a company, OIDAR services company, located in India. Recipient are located outside India. Of course, there are recipients in India also. Now, how to know a recipient is in India or outside India? For that, there is a 2-point test. Government came out and told, if billing address in India, if IP address in India, if SIM number is in India, if country code of the mobile number is in India, if the landline number is in India, if the credit card or the debit card used is going to be in India, if any 2 conditions satisfied, just to 2. Sir, the billing address and the payment in India, done. It is treated as location of recipient isn't taxable. Sir, billing address is US, credit card is US, bank account details is US, SIM number is US, IP is US, then the recipient is in US. Why? Because a fake address, fake profile is possible, but certain things cannot be faked. A digital footprint left. Many people create different mail ID and start to scold others itself, they'll create one mail ID. They fail to understand you are accessing that mail also through the mobile phone, through the laptop, where in today's environment, where the MAC ID of your mobile phone or the laptop is stored by the fellow. That fellow is a very worst fellow. He captures almost all your information. At the end of the day, he'll say there is a privacy policy. What privacy policy? Who read? God only knows. Okay. If I understand, everybody gives. When they see a privacy policy, they say, I agree. What do you agree? I agree, sir. What? There are going to be a lot of digital information that are going to be taken. I'm sorry to say this. If you see a video, where you saw the video, which portion you saw the video in YouTube, where to where you saw, have you seen the video in the normal mode or you fast forwarded it, how many minutes you saw the video, what more details you want, which portion of the video you paused and clicked, which portion you zoomed and saw, all information are captured. What I'm sharing is highly little. With my research analysis for my personal purposes or for some other data analytics purposes of particular channel. For that purposes, when we do itself, we were surprised to know. Hey, என்னடா நான் என்ன வேணா இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் பண்ணலாம் போல இருக்கேடா. But any case, that's the world. That's the world we are in. Of course, this big data analysis is going to be. It's been it's growing, but it's going to grow further only. It's going to go further and further, further and further. Now, my point here is the recipient is real and genuine for that purpose alone. This is matter. Recipients, subscribers position is important because that Indian company, if they put a app in the Play Store, revenue will come from India also, revenue comes from outside India also. Whatever be the basis. If revenue comes within India, no doubt place of supply is in India, so and the transaction should be. Later on when we conclude, we will conclude it is taxable. In case it's outside India, the transaction will not be. If a recipient is outside India, you can always call it as export of service, being a supplier in India. So that sums up our discussion. 14 will come later, not now. That sums up our discussion. If in case you are so curious about 14, what we discussed is only here. A supplier located in a non-taxable territory supplies OADR services to a non-taxable online recipient shall appoint an agent if no PE is available. PE here refers to permanent establishment, which you read in International Taxation of Income Tax, PE. If they don't have a PE in India, permanent establishment in India, they shall appoint, they shall appoint an agent, and supplier of the service is liable for paying IGST on such supply. Zoom is liable to pay IGST on the revenue collected from a personal meeting of a particular individual. So if in case it is going to be a taxable online recipient, what will happen? If a taxable online recipient use it for a business purpose, then very simple, Zoom will not pay, respective recipient will pay tax under reverse charge. So that is how it has been coined and decided. Yes. So that sums up our discussion completely on your place of supply under section 13. Before me getting into some of the practical problems, some of the level 2, level 3 discussions. Any doubts? Yes, if you raise hand, I will take it up. Else we can then move forward. Yes. Quick. Any doubts? No doubt. No doubt, in this situation now possible. Okay. நான் வேற 1 மணி நேரமா பேசினே இருக்கேன், யாரும் கேள்வியே கேட்கல. எனக்கே அது திடீர்னு ஒரு பயம் வந்துடுச்சு. நம்ம என்ன யாருக்கும் பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். Already in my home I get a feeling. Test India Limited, a company which is engaged in testing of chemicals in India, which has a test lab in Mumbai, has received some testing components from B-Inc, USA. And Test India Limited does these services to B-Inc for USA for $25,000. A question that is raised over here is, what is going to be the place of supply? Again, a further supplementary question is raised. What is going to be the nature of supply? What is going to be place of supply and what is going to be nature of supply? Quick. We have no time. Quick. Place of supply and the nature of supply. Quick. Test India Limited is in India. They are engaged in testing of various chemical in its test lab facility, which is located in Mumbai, India. This Test India Limited signed some agreement with a company in USA, Mrs. B Inc. in USA. B Inc. USA agreed to take all those chemical testing services, but B Inc. one of the requests is, sorry, B Inc. has made a payment of $25,000 as an agreed sum for all this. All we need to determine is what is going to be the place of supply. First question, a little easy question. A larger question is going to be nature of supply. Quick. We'll take it up place of supply first, then we'll take it up place of supply first. Or we'll take it up both together. At the final level, what is ideal is both. Because this situation, for this situation, how are we going to respond for it? That's the idea. Vishnu Prasad, I agree with you on place of supply, but can you revisit when it comes to your nature of supply? Let me repeat it. There is some components, only on the components you can test. So components, compound, all that is nothing but chemicals. Those chemicals comes from supplier to recipient. On the chemical it is tested. So place of supply will be Gopika. Nature of supply cannot be performance-based services. Nature of supply is whether it is an intra-state supply or interstate supply. Let me repeat. Intra or inter can be decided as place of supply. Nandini, I agree to you on place of supply, but nature of supply, think. Place of supply can always be only a state. It cannot be a city at all. I think we have discussed. We are all at final. That mistake is not pardonable, because at a entry level I can understand. At your level, at no point in time, place of supplies technically can be either any of the state in India or other territory. Other territory is outside India. Okay. So when it is going to be US UK, you can say US UK within bracket other territory, because that is how it is selected in the options. Understand? Tenmozhi, your answer is right, but can you give me some justification why you selected nature of supply in that way? Your answer is right. I just want to know whether it is by chance answer got right or by choice answer got right. It's by choice or chance. I just want to know. That's all. Janani, your answer is also right. Vaishnavi, place of supply is right. Nature of supply alone you check. Haripriya Mohan, place of supply is right. Nature of supply, a little deliberation is required. Share, share all those. Deepak T. Can you give me, your answer is right, Deepak. Can you give me justification for your nature of supply? There should be some justification. Now you're giving justification for place of supply now. Sir, as per it is like this, so my place of supply is like this. Similarly, I want nature of supply justification. Hari Prasad, answer is right. But justification for nature of supply. Vivekanandan, check your place of supply itself. Ritika, is it is event or performance based? Now, no doubt, coming back here, a testing services on goods by a test lab. Now, this would trigger us, no doubt, like first entry, general entry. We can go to general entry. We can go to general entry only if it is not covered by any of those specific services. When we come back to specific services, the first service will target us, 13 subsection 3 will target us when goods are made available by the recipient to supplier. The place where the service is performed on the goods. I'll ask you one fundamental question. The testing of that goods. No doubt the test component, the test chemical belongs to B Inc. B Inc only supplies the test component and everything to the lab in Mumbai, India. Place of supply will be the place where the testing happens. Place of supply will be the place where the testing happens. Now, Mrs. B Inc. Mrs. B Inc., the place where the testing happens. B Inc. has supplied some chemicals to Test India Limited. Test India Limited has tested that chemicals in a test lab in Mumbai and comes up with a report for which B Inc. is in turn going to pay $25,000. Place of supply will be the place where the services are performed. The services are performed in, no doubt, Mumbai, Maharashtra. So, place of supply as per section 13, subsection 3, as the service is a performance based service, testing on goods. Place of supply will be place where the services are will be place where services are performed. Which will be Maharashtra. Yes. The next question comes, nature of supply. Location of supplier is USA. Location of recipient is India, Maharashtra. Place of supply is Maharashtra. When your situation is like this, no doubt, location of supplier is India, Maharashtra. Location of recipient is, when your situations are like this, we will be tempted to answer location of supplier and place of supply is in the same state. So it will be a intra-state supply. I'll cut the whole discussion. We'll be tempted to answer that that it is a intra-state supply. I am sorry, this answer is wrong. Let me repeat, I am sorry, this answer is wrong. It cannot be considered. It cannot be considered as a intrastate supply. This is wrong. Sir, how you are saying this is wrong? Kindly go back and refer to your understanding. Be it section 8 of nature of supply, to be more precise, 8.1 or 8.2 of nature of supply, started with the condition subject to section 12, subject to section 10. That is how it started. When it comes to goods, subject to section 10, the location of supplier and location of recipient if it is in taxable territory. Subject to section 12, location of supplier and location of recipient is in taxable territory. What do you mean by subject to section 10, sir? When you will invoke section 10 of IGST Act, if it is not a import or export transaction. When you will invoke section 12 of IGST Act, when that location of supplier and the location of recipient is in India. Here, then what will be applicable? Here, we will be guided by location. We will be guided by section 7 subsection 5. Section 7 subsection 5 in its last limb will come out and highlight to us if a transaction is not covered by 8, it would be covered by 7.5. I'll do one thing. I'll show to you the bare provisions. Now remember it. Now recollect it and remember it for your complete purposes. One minute. See, it should have not been strike to us all along. Maybe this is the very strategic point to discuss that point. Come back. I believe I have also already discussed it. Come here, how the section starts reading. Subject to the provisions of subsection 10. Supply of goods where the location of supplier and the place of supply of goods are in the same state. Okay. Now, subject to provisions of section 12. The point that I want to drive home is, if a transaction, there is going to be a supplier or recipient outside India, then it cannot be covered by section 12. It has to be covered only by 13. So, location of supplier India, place of supply India. So, I would call this as intrastate supply only. No, sir. Unfortunately, read through your section 8, subsection 2. It starts with what? Subject to the provisions of section 12, which means this section is a subservient to your section 12. Sir, what is section 12? Sir, you have just now completed a place of supply discussion on services where location of supplier and location of recipient are going to be in the same state. Sir, if I'm going to check or verify the interstate situation, what will happen? Come verify that interstate. You'll have a better, more understanding. When it comes to interstate discussion, come back here. Read through every wording, important. 7.1, how it starts. See, subject to provisions of section 10. Of course, this is for goods. Goods imported into the territory of India. This is not an import transaction, so we are not bothered about it. Subject to provisions of section 12. If your case is covered by section 12, then you can refer here. Correct. Supply of services imported into the territory of India. We are not bothered about it because we are not importing services. It's not an import of service. Kindly understand. Supplier is in India, recipient outside India, place of supply is in India. Then we have left with no other section, but for the fifth subsection. Supply of goods or services or both. When supplier is located in India and the place of supply outside India. This will not be covered there. This is not something to do with SEZ, so it is not also covered here. Supply of goods or services are both in the taxable territory, not being an intrastate supply, not covered elsewhere in the section, shall be treated as supply of goods or services or both in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Which means the point that I want to drive home here is very simple. This transaction will be covered by this last limit. Supply of goods or services or both. Supply of, you read it only to service. Supply of service in the taxable territory. Yes. Not being a intrastate supply. It is not an intrastate supply. Yes. And not covered elsewhere in this section. Not covered elsewhere in this section. It is not covered by 7.1. It is not covered by 7.2. It is not covered by 7.3. It is not covered by 7.4. Yes, sir. 7.5c. Sir, do I need to remember and write it? Definitely yes. Definitely yes. Make yourself highly comfortable. Unique proposition. Normal people, generally, if a question like this is asked, people will invariably close their eyes and say intrastate supply. I am sorry, this is wrong. This is wrong. It is not an intrastate supply at all. This is an out and out interstate supply. It's a clear interstate supply. Sir, with what guts you are saying? Section 7, subsection 5, subsection C. See, let me repeat it. Because various theory are floating, I have proved to you meticulously how it has to be understood. I have proved to you so meticulously how it has to be understood, why we get it. People just like that write intra. And the worst part of it, I will share to you. The worst part of it is we have few rulings also in that favor only. Okay. We have few rulings which is coming out and saying to us that it is eligible or something like that. So it is not an intra-state supply. It will be treated as a interstate supply. Let me repeat. Make yourself more comfortable. See, these are all cases where you have to take a grip at a final level. This is one challenge that will always come to you. A meticulous reading. Now, if you want to revisit your section, Section 10 talks of place of supply in case of goods other than import or export transaction. Section 11 talks of import of goods. Section 12 talks of location of supplier and location of recipient in taxable territory. Section 13 talks of location of supplier or location of recipient in non-taxable territory. And you have concluded just now a particular transaction where location of supplier is in India, place of supply is in India, however, recipient outside India. You would be tempted to write intra-state supply if you go back to Section 8, either Section 8.1, which starts with subject to Section 10, 8.2, which starts with subject to Section 12. Have you determined your place of supply as per Section 12? Then go and use 8.2. When you are unable to determine under Section 12.8.2, then how you can treat the transaction as an intra-state supply is going to be a subject matter of question. Clear subject matter of question is that because of that reason, it is not covered by 8. Come back to Section 7, interstate supply goods, import of goods, interstate supply service, import of service, residual entry. For export, SEZ, last entry. If it is not covered elsewhere in this section, if it is not covered by the earlier section, then it will be covered by it. Sir, are you trying to fit this transaction in the residual entry? Yes, I am trying to fit the transaction only under the residual entry. If you could be able to understand whatever I have shared over the last 20 minutes, then it's a good learning. In fact, so meticulously, it has to be brought down in your case study. Maybe I'll take up one more case study before we move forward on this particular discussion. Ramco Construction Limited is engaged in Ramco Constructions Limited is engaged in supply of goods, supply of construction service. They engaged a consultant for construction service who is located in Dubai as the PMC, project management consultant, and paid $150,000 US. Determine place of supply and nature of supply. A very simple question in my view, not a far-fetched technical question and all, a very simple question. Ramco Constructions Limited, Tamil Nadu, India, is engaged in supply of construction services. They engaged a consultant for construction services who is located in Dubai. as their PMC consultant and paid 1,50,000 US dollars. All we need to determine is place of supply and nature of supply. One missing information. One missing information here. 1 minute. Yes, sorry, some of the information was missed. Construction company is in Tamil Nadu. The building is going to come up at Maharashtra, and the consultant is located in Dubai. The Dubai consultant is paid $150,000 US dollars. All you need to determine is place of supply, nature of supply. Quick. Vishnu Prasad, you are right. Vishnu Prasad, no. Check, Vishnu Prasad. Sorry. Over enthusiastically saw the second answer and answered it. Ganapati Turuma, along with the section number, nice. Pavitra through. Vaishnavi K through, correct. Virtually somebody can answer. In my view, everybody can answer. Vishnu Prasad revised the answers through. Hari Prakash, place of supply section which you are referring, can you confirm? I mean, that is the basic section, not the section number. I think the section itself is wrongly referred, is in my view. You should refer a different section, Hari Prasad. Shweta Manivannan, right. Deepak, right. Deepak, on the second part of the question, Deepak, nature of supply. Second part, can you check it? Sai Subramaniam. By the way, Lakshmi Shruti, right. Nature of supply, all of you are all landing up at, see what weightage you give to place of supply. Also understand you should give an equal weightage to nature of supply. In nature of supply, it is an interstate supply, all of you are concluding. I agree to you, it's an interstate supply. Because of what? 17 hours, sorry, 7 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, illena import of service, export of service, அந்த லெவலுக்காவது கண்ட்ரோல் எடுக்கணும்ல. Let me repeat, you in your answer are highlighting, no doubt, that about place of supply in a very great way, but you should also equally highlight nature of supply. Is it an import of service or an export of service? No, then only you can conclude it here. Quick. Yes. Vivekanandan, place of supply is right. Ambika referred the section number. Good. See, when we are going to answer here, place of supply. Place of supply as per section 13(4) would be in case of immovable property based services. In case of construction services, place of supply will be the place where the immovable property is located or intended to be located. Where the immovable property is located or intended to be located. Okay. Hence, place of supply will be Maharashtra, India. In case of international transactions alone, start marking this. It will only help you in knowing when you determine nature of supply. When you determine nature of supply, again you will say location of supplier is Dubai. Location of recipient is in TN, India. Place of supply is Maharashtra, India. If location of supplier is in non-taxable territory and location of recipient is in taxable territory, location of recipient is in taxable territory and place of supply is in taxable territory, the said service will be considered as import of service. See, in my view, all of you would have mentally prepared about it, thought about it, but you may not had the time to zero in on it. So because of that reason, it would be treated as import of service. Okay, followed by when it comes to import of service, as per section 7 subsection 4, import of service will be considered as a inter. See, this is what is the closing remarks you have to give. Majority of you gave weightage to place of supply, but nature of supply alone, a lot of you wrote straight away nature of supply, interstate supply, interstate supply, interstate supply. How you got interstate supply? Supplier is in outside India, recipient is in India, place of supply is in India. This is covered as per section 2 subsection 11. If you want to write that, I would recommend it. Right, because you spend time, read the topic, it should be established in the paper. As per section 2 subsection 11, it would be treated as an import of service. As this service is an import of service, nature of supply will be determined as per Section 7, if you know. If you know meticulously it is 7.4, then say 7.4, import of service. Import of service will be considered as an interstate supply. That is how it comes. I don't know, Vishnu Prasad, why you went to 7.5c. This is a question which will never warrant you to 7.5c. It satisfies all the conditions. You just think about it. You referred here section 13.4. You should refer here 2.11. You should refer here 7.4. Pakka exam question. Okay. If you want to add fragments to this question, very well, I will add fragments just by changing only one information on the question. Just by changing one information on the question, a beautiful fragments can be added to this question. So what is that information change now? This is a 7-mark question. Okay. I'm not discussing this question. I'm leaving as it is. Take it as your a question that will be reviewed at your end. You want, you take a screenshot. If you want, you take a photo, you do something or make a note of it. Not a great question. Ramco Constructions Limited in Tamil Nadu is engaged in supply of construction services. They engaged a consultant for the construction services for a building about to be constructed in Singapore. They engaged a consultant. No, the consultant is the PMC, project management consultant. PMC, a technical word, project management consultant, who is located in Dubai. He was paid $150,000. All that I need to know is determine your place of supply, determine your nature of supply, and levy. Or you can also very well come out and say place of supply will be determined, nature of supply cannot be determined, and levy cannot be determined. Any answers are possible. It will be applicable also possible, not applicable also possible. At this level, I will close it because then only we will know the real importance of majority of people. Some of you, a lot of you got it right in the earlier problem, but I'm not sure it was by choice or chance. Okay, if all the thoughts that we were discussing now is all part of your discussion, maybe you would have lagged in documenting it. That's okay, but the brain has processed all this, then all of us are on the same pages. So at this level, we'll wind up today's discussion. Thank you all for effective and patient listening. Any doubts? Yes, I would.